Hello, and welcome to this video on simple interest. This video is specifically for my year 10s, so we're going to be using a formula that may be different for some other students watching this, but this is specifically for my year 10s and the formula that we use at our school. The formula we use for simple interest is the following. I equals P times I times N. The second formula we could use is A equals P plus P times I times N. These two formulas have one major difference. The formula here on the left gives us our interest, and the formula on the right gives us our total amount. That is, it is our interest plus our principal. Our interest is here, plus our principal is here. With that in mind, let us answer this first question. So I've just moved those two formulas up the top. We have our interest in the top left and our total amount in the top right. This first question says, Stephen borrows $3,000 from the bank. It has a simple interest rate of 8%. How much interest is added after 3 years? So I'm going to list what my values are first. So in our formula, we have I, we have P, we have lowercase I, and little n. And I'm just going to write equals next to all of these, and we're going to find out what our values are. In our question, our I, well, the question is asking us how much interest is added, which means we don't know what our I is. So I'll put a question mark there. Our P stands for principal, and it's the amount that is invested or borrowed. It is the amount of money that is taken or put in, the original amount. In this case, it is $3,000. So I'll write $3,000 there. Our little I is our interest rate. Now, if you look at the question, it has a simple interest rate of 8%. So I'll do 8%, but there is a trick with this, because we need our little I as a decimal, not as a percentage. I could go into this video as to the differences, but the only thing you really need to know is that we are going to divide this by 100, which gives us 0.08. If you look over on my calculator, I go 8 divided by 100, and it equals 0.08. Our N, the N value is asking us how many years is this being applied for. How many years? If you read the question, it says after 3 years. So N equals 3. So we've got I, big I, which we don't know. We have our principal, which is $3,000, our little I of 0.08, and our N value of 3. Let's go back to this big I. Because if you look in our top left, big I is equal to P times little I times N. I can put my values in here. P is equal to $3,000 times our little I, which is 0.08, times N, which is 3. So I'll put this onto my calculator. $3,000 times 0.08 times 3, and it equals $720. $720. That is the answer to this question. That's all you need to do. Let's try the next question. This one says, Sally invests $2,000. This means that she puts $2,000 into something. She invests $2,000. It has a simple interest rate of 5%. What is the total investment worth after 4 years? Now, this question is asking what the total investment is worth. Do you remember in the top left here, we have our interest, and in the top right, we have our formula for our total. So whenever a question is asking you for a total with simple interest, we use the formula in our top right. So I'm going to write out my letters again. A, which is our total, and we don't know that yet. P, little I, and N. Our P in this question, this is our original amount, is $2,000. Our little I is 5%. But remember, we need to divide this by 100 to get it into a decimal. In my calculator, you can see I go 5 divided by 100, and this gives me 0.05. And finally, if you look in the question, it says how much is the total investment worth after 4 years? So n is equal to 4. Now this a value, which is what we're looking for, you can see the formula in the top right. A equals P plus P times I times N. We have all of these values, so I'm just going to fill it in. So A equals P, which is 2000, plus P again, which is 2000, times I, which is 0.05, times N, which is 4. So I'll put this in my calculator. 2000 plus 2000 times 0.05 times 4. And this equals $2,400. $2,400. So that is my final answer there. The total investment is worth $2,400 after 4 years. I'll do one more question here. This question says Roger borrows $8,000. So he's borrowing $8,000. It has a simple interest rate of 3%. What is the total amount due after 2 years? Once again, this is wanting the total amount. So we are looking for A. Right now, we don't know what A is, but we are looking for A. I'm going to write out my values, P, little I, and N. P is equal to $8,000. I is equal to 3%. We divide that by 100 as always, and that will give us 0.03. And N, the question says, what is the total amount due after 2 years? N equals 2. This A value, we know the formula is A equals P plus P times little I times N. So A equals P, which is $8,000, plus 8,000 again, times 0.03 is our little I value, times 2 is our N. Putting this into our calculator, 8,000 plus 8,000 times 0.03 times 2 gives us $8,480. $8,480. That is how you use simple interest. The two formulas, either you will use the interest formula in the top left up here if they want to know what the interest is added, or you'll use the A formula over here if they want to know the total amount. I hope this video was helpful. Write down some of the questions and answers from this video to help you practice.